very much.
Mr. Chairman, let me just say this. First of all, we received a sewage system. We have a 25,000 gallon capacity, which could possibly support the startup of these businesses as
Right.
we speak. The expansion of that facility, the upgrade, provides accommodations for the build-out. And yes, we recognize that in the initial start, we're going to have some negative returns. But in an economic development situation, we have an overall project that's going to bring tax dollars to the county. Is going to provide opportunities for the county. And when you begin to look at the revenue on that side, as well as the potential revenue from this enterprise itself of a sewage system, which may be 6 or 7 years out, that it's going to pay for itself. I mean, it's going to be a benefit to the county overall. And we recognize the negative return initially. Also in this project, we're looking at a build-out of residences, multifamily homes, which are going to have hookups. So, you know, you bring out a good point, but I think that this has been thought through. It's an economic development project. There's been a lot of energy, resources put into this, and I think that, you know, if we look at it from the overall build out, we're going to find that we will, or we should, you know, in ideal conditions, should have a good project for us, before us.
Well, I kind of concur with that to a certain extent, Henry, but unfortunately, the magnitude of hookups is what this is all contingent upon, and with 4 and 6 miles of line, we're not going to do that unless we expand this, or you have a tremendous block of build-up in that particular area. Now, again, there are incentives there from a tax revenue standpoint to generate those kinds of things, but even with the 3,940 hookups, and that was saying that we were going to have 3,940 taps in Gates County. There's only 4,400 homes. Now, how many of you people are going to sign up? I called a gentleman and asked him something. I asked him what would it cost to have a septic system put up in Gates County. He told me $3,500, maybe $4,000 depending on the things. Well, if it costs you $1,000 to hook on to something, and you got another $2,500 at $500 a year, it don't take but 6 years to pay for it, and then you stop paying because the life expectancy of a sewage system is 30 to 50 years. So who would do this in the right mind unless it was mandated by Gates County? So it's true. If we can get the development to take and pay the tax base down, up, or increase the tax base to get revenues that offset this, but the project in itself will never fly. It will not stand the revenue stream. It has to have that infrastructure coming from the build-up of that. Now, my problem is this. Number one, the only way you're going to increase the tax base is have industrial things. You won't do it from a residential deal. It won't. It just won't work. You got to have the residential, the industrial gains from a manufacturing plant or something. Do you know, just across the river, Nucor is putting in a $100 million capital project. $100 million. Well, ask yourself what the tax base is in Gates County. This is the kind of things we got to have. We got to be thinking big and not small. We got to change our way of life in Gates County in order to save us all, really, tell you the truth. We can't save ourselves.
I think what we've done,
And what Henry said is true, but it's going to take a time.
We just rezoned some of the Lane's property.
And we hope it does.
So when we look at the whole concept of the project, we're looking at industrial development, we're looking at retail, residential businesses and so forth. So I think the plan is there, and I can see where there's questions and there's concerns. But when you study out the whole plan of what's being done, we'll find that we're touching all bases. And I commend Kim
And
and his team for taking on this project. And I think it's something that's going to be a real benefit to the county.
And I'm not complaining with this, Mel. I don't have any problem with this. I mean, it's the long-range plan that I'm concerned about, very concerned. And I hope you can go out there and sell them all, but I know of other places. I went by a place 3 weeks ago on the way to the beach, right down Camden. You turn right, there's a little strip mall there. There is one store in that strip mall, and it's been there 2-3 years. I agree. Well, that's the other problem. That's the other problem I have with the high school. I don't think that's the proper location.
I disagree, respectfully. But if I could just say just a couple things that I was thinking, on this system, I assume you saw those plans, they are expanded past this property, it's not just for this.
I understand.
And, also, if we can, create new businesses, more jobs, means more grant money too. That's that's our goal.
I understand that.
We have to start somewhere.
I agree.
It would be great if I could come in here and,
Remember what I said.
well, I'm gonna, let me put it like this, I'll do everything I can to make it successful.
If I was the federal government and and it's coming from the federal government, and I was handing you grant money, I would come back to you and see what you did with that and see how well you performed.
They will.
Well, that is gonna be a real concern.
Well, and I agree.
So you need to sell all you can, and you need to sell it fast.
But we're under the gun. I mean, it's, we got our work cut out for us, but we've been here doing this for 3 years now, and it's, I've anxiously waited to get to the finish line so I can really focus on trying to get businesses in Gates County that I think the citizens will need and will appreciate, and create some jobs that people need to go to work and more jobs.
You won't see a person more involved and wanting to see that than I do, Kim. I tell you that. My whole focus as a business person is that. I understand capital investment, but you have to have return on your money.
I understand, yes, sir, and I'm gonna do all we can to make it happen. I mean, I wouldn't be so,
I wouldn't ask this guy here to go invest my $5 million if he was gonna give me a negative return.
I agree. You gotta make a profit.
Okay.
If he couldn't put a positive number on it and show it to me, I wouldn't do it.
Well, let's look at the stock market. The stock market, we've got some up years and down years, but if you
Yeah.
look at the overall return over a 10 or 15-year period, many times you're looking at 10 to 12%. And, some of the most prudent investors in this country, they live by the stock market on a long-term basis. So, you're going to have some losses. You're going to have many times unexpected or not anticipated results. But if you look at it long-term, that's what we have to look at, is the long-term benefit. And, of course, and that's where we're going to be.
All right, any more comments from the commissioners? We need to go into a public hearing. Thomas, if you wait for a public hearing, we'll take the comments. Thank you. We need a motion